Hey guys and gals, today I'm going to talk to you about prefixes and suffixes. I'm going to tell you what they are and how to use them. The first thing I want to focus on are prefixes because it's what you use in the beginning of the word. Listen to this song, learn a little bit more.
Things like what a word means, you can find them at the front of a word. Learn them, you need them to figure out the words and the meanings. It's like a remix, it changes things like what a word means, you can find them at the front of a word. Learn them, you need them to figure out words and the meanings.
So what is a prefix? It changes things like what a word means. Where do you find it? You find it at the front of the word. And this is really important because it helps you figure out the meaning. So, I want you to look at the word unhappy and under. What you need to know, which is super important, you have to find the base word. The base word is the word without the prefix. So, if we were to box out un, which is one of our prefixes here, it leaves us with the word happy. Happy is a real word. If you look at the next word under, okay, if I box out un, der is not a base word. It's not a real word. So in a word like under, there is no prefix. That is part of the word. That's really important that you know. Okay, if I found the prefix, is there a base word? Is it a real word? If it is, then you've got a real prefix. If you don't, it's part of the word, so there's no prefix to it. So I want you to look at these 4 prefixes, or 5. Dis, un, non, im, and in. All of these mean no or not. Let's talk about dis. So dis means not. I'm going to show you how you could use this to figure out what a word means. So if I have a word like dishonest, well, I know dis means not, so dishonest means not honest. Let's try another example. Disobey means not obey. So do you see how that prefix really helps you figure out what a word means? You don't need a dictionary. You don't need any of that. You just need to know what the prefix means. So dis means not or no. Un, you use un all the time. Here's an example. So if you were reading and you came across the word unhappy, you know that un means not. So unhappy means not happy. Remember, when you're looking for prefixes, you need to make sure that your base word is a real word. In the word understand, derstand is not a word. So there is no prefix in the word understand. You need that base word. It's super important. So un means not. Unreal, you're not real. Non. You see non a lot in a lot of public places. Non-smoking means no smoking. A word like nonfiction, it's not fake. You've already been using that one for a while. I bet you didn't even realize it. A lot of the times, too, with the word non, it usually has a little dash in between. So nonfiction, non-smoking. You might see it with a dash, you might not. In and im. Here's an example using the word in, or the prefix in. Inappropriate. Appropriate is a word. So you'd say inappropriate, it's not appropriate. Not right to do. So to review, there's 5, dis, un, non, in, and im. They all mean not or no. Let's look at two more prefixes. You find them at the beginning of the word. The first one is pre, and it means before. And how I use the word pre is I'm going to use the base word first and then the prefix. So I would say you're going to heat before, like preheat the oven to 350 degrees. I'm going to heat the oven before I start cooking. Preheat. Maybe you do this at school. Your teacher might say, you're going to have a pre-test. I'm testing you before. So you say the base word and then the prefix. Your test before. Same thing with re. Re means again. And you're going to do it in the same fashion. You're going to say the base word and then the prefix. So you're going to test again. You retest. Another example. If you are retelling something, you are telling it again. Retell. So unlike, look, I just used one, unlike, not like. Dis, non, un, im, and in, where you say not, and then the base word. For pre and re, you're going to say the base word, and then the meaning of the prefix. Pre-test. I test before. Retell. I tell again. Those are prefixes. They're found at the front of the word. We talked about before. Do before. Something again. Retell. Recall. So if prefixes are at the beginning of the word, where do you think you might find a suffix? If you said the end of the word, you're correct. So suffixes do the same thing. They change the word, but they just work at the end of the word instead. So here are some endings we might come across. Est, full, and less. My favorite, and the one I really want to focus on, is full. So I might say, this is a common word you might come across. You are beautiful. So with that suffix, the end of my word, I might say beautiful means that you are filled with or full of beauty. You're beautiful. What if I said you are careful? Remember, care is your base word. It's a real word. So you would say you are filled with care, or you're full of care. What if I said you were careless? So take a look at that suffix. So if you're careless, you are without care. But if you're careful, you're full of care. So do you see how those suffixes really change what a word means? And it really helps you understand the words. Full means you're full of, less, without. Think of it like money. If you have less, you're without the same that you want. Now these three suffixes have more to do with grammar. So these two words affect verbs, and this helps with verbs. So you might see a word like run, and it has that suffix on the end. It means that you're doing it in present tense. Okay? If I have a word like jumped, what that suffix tells you is it's happened, it already happened. It's past tense. You probably already learned about verbs and their tenses, but if not, this is a good reminder. Ing tells you it's happening now. Ed tells you it already happened. And this is important when you're reading a story or even a non-fiction text to know when your story happened. Is it all in past tense or is it happening now? Ly is used at the end of a word, at the end of an adjective that describes a verb. So here's a good example. Quickly. Tells me how I'm doing something. How I'm running. Maybe I'm running quickly. So that's a great tool to use in your writing. Use words that end in ly to help describe what you're doing. So that's that. Remember, prefix is something that is fixed before your base word, and a suffix is a little word that's it's fixed to the end of your base word. Both prefixes and suffixes change the meaning, and it helps you figure out what the word means. You know these prefixes and suffixes, you can do just about anything. Signing off for now. See you soon.